Hello and welcome to High Point Music's Gear Reviews. I'm Lewis, and in today's episode I'm going to show you another Mad Professor pedal, the Little Green Wonder. So the Little Green Wonder is a typical 3-knob style overdrive pedal. It's very loosely based on a tube screamer, a similar style circuit in that it uses an op-amp and some clipping diodes to create its distortion circuit. However, the tone control is wildly different. It's a body control that tends to change mid-range and high and low frequencies rather than a typical bandpass tone control. So that's a nice welcome change, and the Little Green Wonder does not have the mid frequencies bump or boost that a tube screamer typically has as well. So it's a flat response overdrive, and the tone control is a little bit more complicated or a little more sophisticated than your average tube screamer. So I'm going to show you my clean tone, and then I'm going to show you some sounds with the varying body and drive control on the Little Green Wonder. So my Fender Stratocaster, my clean tone sounds like this. Neck. And then I'll show you what the Little Green Wonder does. So we just simply turn it on, and we've got our volume, our drive, which is our gain control, and the body, which is the tone control I mentioned earlier. Okay, so I'm starting with the low drive sound. That's the gain at absolute minimum. And I'll just sweep through the body control to show you what you can kind of get out of it at what is usually a low treble response kind of setting. You can definitely hear it thinning out a bit here, a little more volume. EQ change is reasonably subtle at this drive setting. So if we just push that up a little bit more, you can hear it gets a lot bolder sounding anti-clockwise compared to that scooped out kind of thinner sound on the clockwise about the 3 o'clock position. And then fully turned up on the body side is probably the thinnest of the settings. Increasing that drive gives us a little more treble. And then sweeping back through. A bit darker and a bit more bottom end. A little bit more bottom end does make a little fuzzier sounding as well, which is pretty cool. Push that drive up to about halfway now. And sweep back through that body. Again, it gets into that bright point even at this drive setting, and when you sweep back across it'll get that bolder tone again. It's a bit grittier, a bit dirtier. Go up higher on the drive, back through the body. You can kind of hear it starting to mellow out a little bit from about 11 o'clock to my ears. There. And then at about here, we start to get that treble response back. So from there, kind of through to the top. Like that. A pretty versatile body or tone control. And of course the drive cranks, we're just getting all that extra saturation. So treblier sound, through that kind of washed out mid-range sound into some gnarlier, grittier kind of tones, sort of between this 10 and 7 o'clock position. And then of course at very low drive, we've got plenty of volume, as you can see. We're only at 9 AM kind of thing here. And pushing that up will give us a pretty nice boost into a valve amp or driving some other pedals that we may have stacked. And seeing as the pedal seems pretty versatile with this body control, I'll run a couple of quick lead sounds as well. So starting off, we've got our gain at about 9 o'clock and the body turned all the way down to get that bolder kind of tone. So at that low drive setting, pretty nice kind of sustain. The bridge response is pretty tight. And there's still plenty of playing dynamics here as well. So a nice feature of an overdrive to be able to get that dynamic change in, and then all the way through to the cranked kind of sound. I'm going to leave that body control turned up because I think that sounds pretty good like that. Some neck. So it gets pretty driven, pretty distorted, but you don't lose that tonal change between your neck and your bridge pickups. And then we can sweep across on the body. Just that little bit less bottom end. It's a subtle change on the lead notes because there's not as much going on. The signal isn't getting as complicated, but a nice tonal variation. Maybe you've only got one pickup, you've got a bridge or a neck pickup, or you don't want to change that pickup around too much during the set. This is definitely a great way to get some sounds that you're not going to be able to get with every guitar. So pretty versatile in that respect. So there you go, that's the Little Green Wonder. Again, the classic Tube Screamer style circuit, as at least where it started. So it's got that amp-like overdrive that everybody likes and prefers that style of pedal for. However, the flat response means that we get a little bit more treble and a little bit more bass in our signal. It'll sound a little bit fuller than what a Tube Screamer would. And the body control being able to vary between a bass cut, a treble cut, and some mid-range manipulation as well is a little bit more sophisticated than our typical just cutting some bass or cutting some treble out on a Tube Screamer. So really well balanced EQ, and it's very dynamic across that drive range. You can definitely get an amp just starting to break up or a fully saturated distorted amp sound, plus the ability to use it just as a clean or a cleanish boost and push another amp into that overdrive as well. So there you go, that's the Little Green Wonder from Mad Professor. If you're interested in checking one of these out, you can follow the links below. Don't forget to jump on social media, give us a like, a share, a subscribe, a follow. We really appreciate the feedback. And of course, if you've got any questions or suggestions that you want to ask or say, you can leave those in the comments there or in the comments on the blog. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.